Hey there, folks. Thanks so much for your patience. This is Jerry James. You're listening to the Morning Cup Live. And there's some glitching going on. And that's been happening a little bit lately. So please call back. All circuits are busy. You ever get that pushback with tech? I do. So anyway, we're not going to worry about that because we're going to have Marshall Purvis on the phone. In fact, he's an East Texan. He's going to tell you all about it. In fact, I get to sit back with you and learn about this guy. So we're going to call him right now. Like I said, computer glitch. We couldn't get the track to play for whatever reason, but we will get that figured out. In the meantime, like I said, let's not, without further ado, let's give him a call. Excuse me.
Hello?
Hi there, Marshall. This is Jerry James with Red Dirt Roots Radio. Hey, there might be a small delay. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us on the Morning Cup. It's going to be a good conversation this morning. We've had some computer glitching, and it looks like you were going through some bad service out where you live, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's always kind of bad, but I'm in town now, so it's a little better. But I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, definitely. No problem. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I'm 24 years old. I'm from Lindale, Texas. I've lived here pretty much my whole life. I've been playing guitar since I was in 5th grade. I originally just started playing electric guitar. That was my first love,
Yeah.
I played guitar for a while because my dad plays acoustic and sings as well.
Oh, okay.
And, I always saw a guitar laying around the house growing up.
Uh-huh.
And it made me want to kind of like start trying to pick it up. I didn't really pick it up until about 5th grade. I was more into rock and roll, like blues and rock, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad showed me ZZ Top and stuff at a young age. But he'd always listened to Texas country, like roots kind of rock or roots country. So I was, influenced by that.
Right. Okay. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying he listened to a lot of like Willie Nelson and Robert O'Keefe and Steve Earle and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah, those are all great artists right there. Robert Earl Keen and Steve Earle. We play a lot of that kind of music on our station. In fact, I'm sure you've probably, had a chance to listen to Red Dirts and found out that that's exactly the genre. We love listening to that kind of stuff. And we're all about the singer-songwriter. So tell me, Marshall, when was the first time you picked up pen and paper and decided, that you were going to write something?
Well, see, that's the funny thing about it. I never really thought I'd be the one, to try to sing. I thought I would be the one, just playing guitar in the background. But I did that for a long time, and in 2016, I wrote my first song, which was Best I Can. I just wrote the lyrics out. I didn't write the actual music, and I didn't even attempt to sing it.
Oh, okay.
I just picked the pen and paper up, and I started writing because I wrote the song for my mom when she passed away in 2016. I wrote it for her. She had cancer and she passed, and I was going through a lot of stuff, and I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to start singing and playing guitar. I was just like, well, I'm going to write some lyrics, and I didn't even know how they were going to sound,
Absolutely. I can relate with you and, offer condolences and sympathy. My mom passed away in 2011 from cancer.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah. So, I find that writing and music has been a tremendous outlet for me therapeutically.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. On Tuesday, we have a Dirt Hurt. It's called Dirt Hurt Tuesdays, and it's brought to our webcast by a place up in Canada called the Chinook Ranch, a guy by the name of Steven. And him and we orchestrate a playlist, and for nearly an hour, we play all sad songs. Some people go, well, who wants to sit around and listen to sad music? But the deal is,
it really does.
Go ahead.
It's it's an outlet for a lot of people to just listen to this type of music, like Cody Jinks and like all these artists that really they portray their music very well. You know.
Yeah. Exactly. So you're a Cody Jinks fan.
I'm sorry. I think I cut out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think there's a small delay, so sometimes when I'll finish what I'm saying, then there'll be like a pause, and then no, it's not your fault. Yeah. It's just because I think, I'm over here in Oregon and you're in East Texas. We'll get through it. We'll get through it, though.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, so you're a Cody Jinks fan.
Oh, big time.
What's your favorite Jinks tune?
Oh, I like some of the old stuff. I like the first, like Less Wise.
What's it called?
Less Wise.
Oh yeah, exactly. And how about some Adobe Sessions? How about some Adobe Sessions for you?
Yeah, that's a great album.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? In his latest album, Lifers, I love Headcase. Like the lyrics on that are so powerful. There's actually no chorus in that song. If you look at the layout, it's real interesting. But, he does what he wants, and I think that's what makes him a star because he just makes it work.
Definitely. And I have that Lifers album in my truck right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I listen to that all the time. I like Holy Water a lot off that album.
Yeah, it's super powerful. So you just released your first song, basically. You wrote it in, you said 2016, okay. And so now that's a single. It's not part of an album.
Well, I'm thinking a 5-song EP with just a self-titled.
There you go.
I'm working on four more to add this one into it, but I just put this out as my first single, and I want to add the debut into the rest of it.
Well, that's amazing. Within 15 seconds of listening to your tune, I knew that it was a fit for the station. I don't know how I knew that, but sometimes there's just a certain sound and feel to a song, and the lyrics, it was lyrically sound. If this is your first song, your first EP or release, single release, I'm really excited for you, Marshall. I feel like, you definitely have.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations on that. And, whatever we can do here at the station to help promote that, when you get your other tracks finished,
Oh, well, I really appreciate that. It's a funny thing about that song. It's just, it was a long time coming, that song, because I never thought I would actually get it out there.
Uh-huh.
I had the chorus made before anything.
Right.
So I wrote that when I was going through some stuff. That's the best time to write music.
Right.
And I wrote the chorus line, and after that, I needed more to it. And I remember I was driving home from work when my old job, I used to work at a grocery store.
Uh-huh.
And I was driving back from my friend Jake's house and his apartment. And I remember driving home, and I kept, how you can just drive and a lyric will pop into your head or something.
Right.
And I thought, I had that chorus, and that chorus I had been singing in my head for a while. And I thought, okay, well, what could add on to that? And then I was driving, it's 12:07, heading home, long back road, don't know where the thing went wrong. And I thought, that's really awesome. So I took my phone out and I clicked put it on my voice recorder, and I was sang it and recorded it so I wouldn't forget it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I saved it, and then I started piecing things together.
There you go. Isn't it amazing having technology where, you can pull over real quick and hit the recorder, instead of grabbing notebooks and pens and that. I think it's cool. I do the same thing, because the song will come to me in parts. And so, to be able to record a piece of that and then revisit the topic when you actually have a free moment, really works out well for me.
That's the way to do it. I just started doing it now to where it's like, it's just kind of spur of the moment. I'll just grab my phone and try to get stuff recorded like that now for writing.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know how you feel about this, but my moods change a lot. I think just like the weather here in Oregon, and so some of the ideas that I think are so good, They're not really that good. Like later on, I revisit the topic and I go,
you never know.
well, I get, yeah, that's true. A matter of perspective, but it is kind of funny how I will listen back, I'll be like, I think I have something, and then, record it, and then I'll revisit it later and be like, what? Well, that was goofy, and hit delete.
Yeah, you have those for sure. I mean, I'm new to everything still, and I'm still, a new writer, but I think it's like, it comes in waves.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. It comes in waves.
That's how I feel about it.
It's true. And my producer in Eugene, I released an album myself. I'm a singer-songwriter, and released an album in 2014. Yeah. And, it was one of those sort of like, you have to go to the school of hard knocks, go through the school of hard knocks, or, trial and error, and figure out what works. But the one thing my producer taught me is, because I'd try and get into studio a little too soon with an idea. And what he taught me was to kind of, treat it more like a nest egg, sit on it for a little while. And he said that you need to practice writing songs. And he said, understand that you're going to write a lot of bad tunes that aren't ever really going to be anything, but it's kind of the process of getting to the good stuff. Does that make sense?
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah, so I'm not so attached to my artwork now that I'm going to get hurt if we don't use a certain lyric or a certain idea.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, so you were saying that you started out in guitar, so having growing up around instruments, kind of sparked your curiosity, and you eventually picked one up. Did you ever take any classes or anything?
I never really took any lessons or anything. I was actually a drummer before I was a guitar player.
Oh, okay, great.
I got my first drum set, I want to say I was in 4th grade. So 5th grade was when I really, I was balancing in between the guitar and the drums. And I was a drummer. I was into rock and roll, and I played AC/DC and Led Zeppelin on drums all the time. That was more my thing. And I was more into rock. And then as I went through high school, I wanted to play guitar, but I was actually into more metal music and things at the time. I was playing more heavier stuff than what I do now, and rock, and I was, I guess, just trying to get my music out. I was just playing guitar and, just teenager, just really trying to do whatever I could, but I was just playing guitar. I didn't really even think about playing an acoustic and singing, but my dad, as I said, always had an acoustic at our house, and he sings and plays like a Red Dirt style stuff and Americana style, and he always kind of played his stuff, and I'd go over there and I would just play, I'd do lead over it or something on another guitar.
Right.
And then as he kind of kept going, I started writing some of my stuff, and then I was like, well, the best I can, the song best I can, I got it finished, and I played it for some friends and family, and they really liked it. And then other friends and family pushed me to really get to a real studio and try to get it out there, because they were telling me. But at first I was like, no, I don't want to. I don't think I sound good. I don't I'm like my worst enemy sometimes with music.
Truth. I am too. Yep. I can relate. Yeah. You have a great voice, Marshall, and you have a unique voice. Yeah, no, you're welcome. And I mean that. So definitely keep on honing in the craft. And I'm glad that you had family there to support you for that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad they're here, and I couldn't do anything without them. But it's just with their my sister and my family, my girlfriend, it was they were all telling me, you need to get this out there. You really need to get this out there and put this somewhere, get this in the open so everyone can hear it. And I was just I was really nervous, and I still kind of am. And it hasn't really I think we're at 400 views on it, and I released it on last Friday. So, for me, this is the most successful thing I've ever been a part of. I've been in bands and things playing guitar, but it's never really picked up, and it's I wasn't trying to be somebody else or do anything else. I was just doing me and just, being genuine, and singing about a story, a real life thing that happened. So when I got in the studio, I just closed my eyes and I said, this is what this is about, and just sing from the heart,
Let me stop you right there, Marshall, please. I want to hit on something that you said. You said that you weren't trying to impress anyone else necessarily. You're just trying to do your thing and be who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's powerful, because I don't know a lot, but what I do know is that trying to conform based on the response that you're getting around you, based on numbers that you're seeing on your social media, all that kind of stuff, to try and conform or to try and please, the people around you, and somehow lose yourself and lose your original character. That alone can be like a major setback. So please don't ever, lose who you are. Be true to yourself. If I can encourage you to do anything. So that's awesome.
Yes, ma'am.
And, I also
really
think,
appreciate that.
yeah, definitely. And, I also think it's really cool that you started out on the drums, because I've always heard that, if you can play the drums and you can keep a steady beat, that guitar will be a little bit easier because of, you have to be able to keep that rhythm going.
Really helps.
Yeah. So
it really does.
It'll make it easier when you get into studio and you have to play with a click track or a metronome.
Oh, yeah. That was the first time I played. Well, I've kind of played around on click track, but when I got in the studio, we recorded in Haslett, Texas, which is right outside Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on click track and everything, first real studio, and he asked me, "Hey, you ever been on a click track?" I said, "Sort of." A little bit. He kind of laughed, but
yeah.
I figured a way to manage it.
Yeah, it definitely, for me, I find the click track or the metronome a challenge, but it's been one of the things along that folks have told me along the way. They go, you got to learn how to just really work on your consistency and rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
I even had someone tell me that, if you can sing while you're walking and you walk within like a certain pep in your step, or with your dryer, like if you have something in the dryer and it's got like a jeans button on it, it'll make a little rhythm. They're like, try and sing something, that fits in those little spaces there, because that was for me, my timing was really horrible. I had one drummer tell me, he was an overzealous hothead, and he was like, pretty much, you'll never amount to anything. You'll never play in a band, because you can't. Whatever, but I didn't listen to
them. Just
no.
Never let them get down,
That's right. So what are your goals, Marshall? What are your future goals in music?
Oh, I just would love to play music and, do it for a living. Even if, whatever it is, I would just like to be able to support myself and my family about doing music, because that'd be my ultimate dream. But as long as I'm doing something involving in it, because it's always been there, and I've never, really, been outspoken about my stuff. I just kind of kept to myself. I played for myself, really. I played it with friends and family and in a few local bands, and just kind of did my own thing.
Right.
I never really was the guy that was taking his guitar to campfire bonfires or anything and just playing in front of everybody and trying to put on a show. I've never been that kind of showboat kind of person. I've been kind of the reserved or shy, kind of just doing my thing,
Yeah, that's okay. That's it. That's who you are. Cody Jinks, he described himself as an ambivert. He said he was neither extrovert or introvert. And I really appreciate his description of that, because he was saying that sometimes, you want to share what you've written or what you've created. And he said other times you absolutely need to be alone, with your scribble pad, Yes,
Cody Jinks, something about his sound, and it inspires me a lot. And it's I would really like to meet him one day. He seems like a really nice guy. I've seen him live in Dallas once, and I've only seen him once.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's surprising to me, Marshall, because, I actually got to go to a Cody Jinks concert up here in Portland. We're broadcasting out of Oregon. And, we drove about 2.5 hours. And then later I found out that he was actually playing over at Sam's Garage, which was 20 minutes from my house, but I missed the memo,
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we went to his concert in Portland. And the thing about Cody is he's pretty face value. He's a really super down-to-earth person, and he sings pretty much who he is. So he's not, he's not singing two different things. And I appreciate that. I think that's what a lot of his fans appreciate about his music, is that he's not trying to step into some oversized shining boots.
He's just straightforward, straight shooter, just kind of he's him, and he doesn't mind if he doesn't. He just says it how it is,
Absolutely, and I think that there's such a lesson in life, for all of us to try and be true to our roots like that, especially young people. I've got kids in, a daughter in middle school, and I've got a daughter and son in high school, and it's crazy how much fear, the kids operate by. I don't know that they they understand that they are at the time, like that they're intimidated by other folks or that they're trying to fit in with the crowd. But then they'll tell you these certain stories.
They're trying to fit in with the trend.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I'll try and go back in time to a place where I was timid and afraid to say something or afraid to be myself. And, I'm like, hey, well, speak up. Don't just take it. Don't just accept that, and be who you need to be,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Cody kind of, I don't know, I just think he puts on such an example, a shining example of that lesson right there. So sometimes when folks won't listen to you, just go, listen to Cody Jinks, listen to this music. He can kind of wrap the lesson up.
Yeah, his music really does help a lot of people. And it's because it's grassroots, it's real and it's red dirt,
Yeah. You were saying that, you hadn't seen him yet or met him. And I guess for me, I just think because you're over in Texas, you naturally know these guys,
I've seen him live one time, but I haven't met him. That would be really awesome to meet him.
Oh, okay. You probably said that and I missed that. Sorry.
I saw it. It might have cut out. I saw him in Dallas, actually last year, I believe, late last year. It was a Christmas show.
Uh-huh.
He did some Christmas songs. But it was just him and acoustic guitar, and a few other guys were there. Paul Cawthon.
Yep, he's good. Ward Davis.
Really awesome.
Have you heard of Ward Davis?
Oh, yes. He was actually at that show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got to see him in Portland, and he's the co-writer on I'm Not the Devil.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Ward's a really great writer as well. And Paul Cawthon, he is an intense performer, like one of the most intense performers I've ever seen. Yeah.
He has that vintage kind of sound that you don't hear nowadays. It's original. It's very original.
Yeah, exactly. So if you could talk to Cody, what would you ask him? What would you want to know?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. If I could talk to Cody, it'd be cool just to hang out with him and just, like, talk to him about touring stories and how, being on the road and stuff. That would be really awesome. I wouldn't really be like, how do you do this or that? I think it would just be cool to, like, see his stories, because I'm sure he's got some really awesome stories of being on tour and things that have happened.
I love that, Marshall, because I really feel like, I don't know if you've heard that song by Jamie Johnson, Lonely at the Top.
Uh-huh.
But one of the things that's expressed is that, how lonely it can be. Like once they sort of reach their success, I feel like a lot of people would treat them differently because, once they reach that celebrity status, then they, folks act a little funny, but they're just humans with a talent, so they want to relate with us on a normal level, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
that's what it is. And we're all human, No, it's like only differences is they're doing music, and that's just part of who they are,
Exactly.
I think that's how musicians. I think that's just how they are. They're just like doing what they want to do, and they're doing what they think they were meant to do because they're doing what they're on this earth to do. Because like any musician's gonna always play music even if they're not where they want to be in the music scene or whatever it is. They're still gonna be playing music, whether it be at a little local show or in their room or anywhere or on a front porch. They're just gonna be playing and doing their thing because it helps them. It's an outlet.
Yeah, so the fact that you say, that you just like to hang out with them, and hear some stories, I think is so cool because I don't think they always want to just talk about, they don't always want to hear from everyone. I love your music. I mean, of course they like, the compliments and that kind of thing.
Sure.
But, but they probably appreciate a person that will just say, how's your dog?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Being personable. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, and I'm hoping to get some more shows lined up, and I mean, I would be really cool to see him play, because I didn't get to see him with a full band. I got to see him just, acoustic session.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Maybe one day I'll get to open for him or something. That would be cool, but who knows, you never know what, can happen.
That's what I was
I
thinking.
never would have thought I'd be putting out a song, really. So
Exactly. So, it's not the destination, it's the journey in between. And I was just thinking that, maybe Marshall will get to open for Cody Jinks sometime. And wouldn't that be cool? You look back and you go, I remember a time having a conversation with a little webcast lady, and we're talking about how cool it would be to meet Cody, right?
that's why you never know what'll happen. And I always say, like, if I ever get to where I want to be in music, there's a lot of people I'm not going to forget about. I'm going to try to,
Yeah. The little people along the way. And, like I said, not paying attention to your numbers and your analytic charts so much and followers and all that stuff. I understand on a business level, you have to check out those charts from time to time. But when you go through crisis, and you may understand what I'm saying, or you go through something hard in your life, who's there for you and who's supporting you along the way? Is it your, 9,000 followers? Yeah.
Well, basically your fans.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you're a music standpoint.
Yeah, but sometimes you can count your true friends or fans on one hand, at least in my experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The ones who believe in you when maybe nobody else does, or maybe it seems like no one else does. My Aunt Colleen, for example, when I first released my indie album, I didn't know how or what to do to promote that on the web. I kind of thought it was going to hit the web and it was just going to, it was going to explode and some of my songs were going to take off. And my dream was that they'd become hits. And I don't know what I was thinking. It was definitely kind of a pipe dream. But so when that didn't happen, and I couldn't even get people, to stop and look at my videos. And my sister, she would say, Jerry, I'm so frustrated. She's like, I can't even get my coworkers sometimes to stop and watch one of your videos or listen to your songs. Because everyone's so busy and there's so much coming at them.
It's how it is these days, it seems like.
Yeah. But
music to me seems harder these days. Well, then again, we have all the social media and everything, electronics to help, but
yeah, exactly. It's kind of a flip coin of heads or tails. But my Aunt Colleen, she continued to support me. And she would say, I'm listening to my jams this morning. She'd send me a text, and she passed away from cancer actually a couple years ago.
I'm sorry.
But no, it was awesome that she would send that text and, and take a picture of her TV screen that would say, Pardon My Passion, because that was my album cover. Yeah, and she'd say, I'm drinking my coffee and listening to your beautiful music. Don't ever give up, honey.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
She believed in you. You had that. She had the drive. She saw that drive in you, and she liked that.
Yeah, exactly. So she was one of those true fans. And, she introduced me to Cody Jinks music.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, so you just never know. It's true. We can never really predict the future. There's a famous quote that says, if the veil of the future were removed, would we try so hard? It's so true. It's like if you knew you were going to succeed or you knew you were going to fail. And so really the wonder of it all is just kind of...
If you don't know, then there wouldn't be anything worth fighting for.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, Marshall, is there anything else you want to talk about before we're almost at the top of the hour?
I'd like to talk about 2 shows I got coming up.
Okay, go.
I got a show on the April 13th in Canton, Texas.
Okay.
It's my first real show. I've played open mics and things, but this is my first real show, and I'm playing with Tanner Ezery and Tyler Ross and Matthew Lucas. Few of my friends that are going to be playing with me, and starts at 7, and it's at Wind Down, Canton, Texas. And I got another show May 4th, and there's a lot of art. It's a music festival in Canton. I play at 4 o'clock, but I'm just trying to support these little local places. And
absolutely. You know what? We'd be glad. Go ahead.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
We can definitely promote your flyer if you've got a flyer or something that you put together. Okay. Just send that to me, and I'll share that on our Red Dirt page on Facebook, and we'll also share that from Instagram. Folks, we have Marshall Purvis on the phone from East Texas, and just a tremendous singer-songwriter. He's just now starting out. Really, it probably feels like he's been at this for a while, but really he's just now releasing his first work, to the public, and it's real exciting to be along the journey with you, Marshall.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me.
Definitely. All right. Well, you let us know if there's anything we can do to help here at Red Dirt Roots Radio, and keep in touch. Keep us in the loop, please.
I definitely will. There's a little music scene here in East Texas, and there's people like me that are just playing. There's a lot of people like me that are just playing around here that haven't been able to really get their name out a whole lot, that are just playing like open mics and things. And then there's people that are really doing good with it, but I'm just somewhere in between, you know.
Awesome. Kind of like the name of Adam Hood, his album that he's got out right now, which we had him on the phone Tuesday. Yeah. It's a tremendous album.
Y'all were playing him this week, weren't y'all?
Yeah. He's in the artist spotlight this week. So yeah, great
That's
guy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Marshall, I bet there's people listening that are from your area, from the Lone Star State, from around there, and they'd love to have you. They just need to hear your work and find out who you are. So we'll do our best to get your music going in the rotation and get some of your stuff out there on our social media links. And that's what it's all about, is a singer-songwriter, just starting off, So I hope that works for you.
I really appreciate that. I really do. It means more than I can ever explain.
Awesome.
I appreciate y'all giving me a chance up there.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, well, we are all out of time, so I'm going to let you go, Marshall.
All righty, well, I appreciate y'all having me.
Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Bye.
All right, folks, we're at the top of the hour. Band Talk is coming up next.